Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm taking you on a day trip to one of Europe's oldest continuously inhabited cities, Plovdiv, Bulgaria. A place with thousands of years of history layered in its streets, hills and ruins. Let's begin. As we drive toward Plovdiv, we are crossing into what was once a core territory of the Thracians, who lived here long before the Romans arrived. Archaeological evidence shows that this area has been inhabited since the Neolithic period, around 6,000 to 8,000 years ago. The earliest settlers were farmers who came from Asia Minor and chose to settle here because it sits between fertile valleys. We've just arrived, and we're starting a 2-hour guided city tour before exploring on our own later. Plovdiv spreads across several hills, and its core blends Roman heritage, medieval architecture, Ottoman influences, and modern culture. Our first stop is a collection of Roman-era remains scattered throughout the city. In antiquity, the city, then called Philippopolis, was a major center for the Roman province of Thrace. Today, fragments of its ancient infrastructure survive in modern streets, forums, stadiums, and walls that remind you just how significant this city once was. Next, we walk down Knyaz Aleksandar Street, one of the main pedestrian avenues in Plovdiv, lined with cafés, shops, and 19th century buildings. It's lively and colorful. By the way, Plovdiv was the European Capital of Culture in 2019, a prestigious recognition by the European Union that boosted the city's creative and cultural profile.
Here it shows you were there, here. And this is the excavated part which could be from the other side.
As we climb into the old town, the architecture gradually shifts. Now traditional Bulgarian revival-style houses stand beside old churches and galleries. And then we arrive at one of Plovdiv's most extraordinary monuments, the ancient theater of Philippopolis. Built in the late 1st century AD, this theater stayed buried for centuries, unnoticed even throughout the Ottoman period. It was only in the 20th century that it was finally discovered and uncovered.
This weather, I will show the mountain. This one, there is a museum you can visit. The interesting, symmetrical. Why? Because the two sides, before the war started, top of the house was the Russian war started. So this is right there, here in the
Bulgarian owned,
yes,
their own.
actually we have very high ownership, like 96%. Highest in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, we just
Part of the
that.
tradition.
Yeah.
Have to give it all. Painted floor, surroundings, and it's not kind of village. No point of floor, and the Sofia. Here are effects with all of this. So usually ground floor, underground level, right where the wall is. We saw the wall on the other. Line. So we're paying the line. But only for 2 months on top, less than 2 months. Because 1st of January.
Our next stop is the Kapana district, often called the Trap. This creative quarter is a maze of narrow streets filled with artisan shops, studios, bars, murals, and was one of the focal points of the 2019 cultural year. It's the cultural heart of modern Plovdiv and the perfect area to wander without a fixed destination. After the tour, we had 2 hours of free time. I headed to the restaurant Cavea, located right by the remains of the ancient Roman stadium. Sitting there with a view of the ruins reminds you how seamlessly history and everyday life coexist here. What a special place to be. I'm having a lunch here. Then I walked back through the center, passed by the H&M store that sits over part of the ancient Roman stadium. Yes, you will actually find the archaeological remains beneath it here in Plovdiv. And then stopped by a quiet park to soak in some nature and calm. Despite the cloudy, foggy day, the greenery provided a peaceful contrast to stone architecture. And that wraps up my day trip to Plovdiv. The weather wasn't ideal, clouds and fog covered many viewpoints, but even so, the city's atmosphere and history made a strong impression. My advice? If you can, don't just rush here as a one-day trip from Sofia. Stay overnight. Plovdiv deserves time. Time to wander, to explore hidden corners, to enjoy cafés, and to see the city under better light than today. Thanks for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this vlog, make sure to subscribe for more travel experiences. See you in the next one.